Hi, my name's Corrigan Nadon-Nichols, and I work at the North American Students of Cooperation. This is the second video in a series about incorporation and housing co-ops. And this segment is about the benefits of incorporating. So, what does it take to become a corporation, and is it worth it for a housing co-op? There's three main areas of benefit to consider. Legal leases, debt, and liability. So first I'll talk about leases. When a person moves into a cooperative house, they're making an agreement with the community. They're agreeing to provide money and labor to the co-op in exchange for the co-op providing a house for them to live in and a community, and perhaps other services as well. When you make this agreement, as you may know, it's good to have it written down so everyone's clear about the terms, and it's also good to have it be a legally enforceable agreement. And when the co-op is a corporation, that agreement you make, that lease, is a legally enforceable agreement between the person and this entity, the co-op. If you're not incorporated, that agreement is either between the person and another person in the house, or it's kind of an agreement between a person and the group of people, which does not necessarily have legal standing to enforce the contract. So one advantage of incorporation is that your leases become more legally enforceable, and other types of agreements you might have. If the co-op leases a property from another entity or a landlord, that agreement can become an agreement between the co-op as itself and the landlord, rather than between each individual person and this outside landlord. Second area is debt. When you're operating a residential building, there's various situations in which you're going to take on some kind of financial liability where the co-op's going to owe money to somebody. You might need to repair the building. You might have utility bills where you use the electricity and then they send you a bill and you owe the utility company money. If you buy a building, you'll probably need to borrow money from a bank or credit union to purchase it. In all of these situations, the question is who actually owes that money? Who is on the hook for the utility bill? Who owes the plumber for repairing the plumbing? If the co-op is incorporated, then it's the co-op as a corporation which has those financial debts and not the individual members. So that's good because if you're a person who moves in, you're not suddenly saying, oh hey, by the way, you owe the last 3 months of electric bill because everyone else left and you're just left holding the bag. The corporation is this kind of legal fiction which has the debts and everyone knows that that's the entity that has to pay for it and it doesn't go to the individual. If you're not incorporated and the group takes on some debt, even if it wasn't you personally, sometimes a creditor can use the courts to recover money from any individual in that association. It varies state by state, so can't go into too much detail about that. But if you're not incorporated, you are entering a situation where there may be some financial liability to you individually for other actions of the organization. And the third is more of legal liability. When a person's actions or inactions cause harm to another person, the injured person can often use the legal system to recover money and damages from the person whose action or interaction led to their harm. If those actions were part of the normal operations of a corporation, the corporation is the entity that becomes liable, not the individual employee or owner or board member. So the classic example is someone slips on the stairs or trips over a sidewalk that hasn't been maintained properly. They might fall, hurt themselves, have medical bills, and then they can file a suit against the property owner for those damages. If the property owner is a corporation, then that's the entity that could have to pay out. If it's not a corporation, then whoever might have been involved in repairing or maintaining that space or overseeing it or managing, any of these people can become liable, and that can be a lot of money to pay out, or even if it wasn't actually at fault, it's still a lot of work and legal bills to deal with that situation. So a corporation protects all of the individual members of the co-op from being personally liable. So in summary, there are three main areas that you can benefit from having your co-op be a corporation. One, your leases and contracts can be legally enforceable. Two, financial debts and obligations are assigned to the co-op instead of individual members. And three, any legal liability for negligence or harm that comes to someone is assigned to the co-op instead of to the individuals. In the next segment, we'll talk about what are the costs of incorporating and how much work it takes to make that happen.